welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new here. I am Jen. This is Bookmark by Jen, and guess what? I am back with a monthly wrap-up. I think it's been, I don't know, how long has it been since I've done a monthly wrap-up? Was it June? Was it July? Was it earlier than that? I'm not quite for sure. Like, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. However, in true Jennifer fashion, I do have just a couple items that I would like to tick off before we get into my December reading wrap up. Number one being, I want to profusely apologize for the low audio quality in my last couple videos. I was purposely talking a little softer in those videos because of some things that were going on in my house, but I do want to apologize. I tried to correct that in editing. I even took down and re-uploaded my 2025 reading goals and made it a little bit better, but it still wasn't up to par, and I understand that. I do have an external microphone. However, maybe that's not working. I do have a I don't know where it's at, but I have a actually clip-on microphone. I just don't know if it would talk to my current equipment. If it will, then I have no problem with clipping that on. But I just want to make that aware that I understand that it was not the best of quality, and I apologize. I will definitely work on that. The second thing that I wanted to touch on is that I've been working really diligently, really hard on my 2025 content for me and for you guys, and I am really excited about some of the videos coming our way. But I did not factor in traveling times, and I'm traveling this weekend. I'm traveling tomorrow. So I am getting this up for you as quickly as possible, but I had plans to create, essentially create. I had plans to film my best of 2024 and then my worst of 2024. Two separate videos for you guys this weekend. However, that's not going to happen because we are traveling to visit family. So this is going to go up, and then I will get those two videos to you next week, I promise. I will get them filmed and edited as quickly as possible. Hopefully, I can get them up midweek next week, but those are coming. That being said, so we have just a few things that I like housekeeping of 2024, like wrapping up 2024 that I want to get into before we get into our regularly scheduled programming. I mean, I say that, but is it even regular anymore? Because I am trying to make it regular. It is going to be regular this year. I feel like blanket statement, not like completely everything, but 2024 was just a shit year. Like, if things could go wrong, they did. It just, and again, not like everything in life, but like, it was just a shit year. So I have really high hopes for 2025. I actually feel really positive about 2025. I'm excited to see what this year brings. We're leaving 2024 in the past after these next few videos, and then we are just steamrolling ahead. But I just wanted to touch base with you guys really quick and just explain kind of like my logic and what's going on, and apologize for the low quality. There you go. So let's jump into my December wrap up. I read 8 books, which I'm going to say, like, I feel like is my sweet spot. 8 to 10 books a month. I touched on this in my 2025 reading goals. I will leave it in a card and down below. Little shout out to maybe up that volume a little bit on that video because, again, audio ain't so great. But I touched on quality versus quantity, and I think 8 to 10 a month is a really good place for me. Not to mention, I sometimes really loathe editing videos, so I think, you know, eight books is not too much to talk about. So I think we could do it. So my stats for December are as follows: 8 books, 5 of those being Christmas themed. In the previous year, 2023, I had no desire to read anything Christmas, but this year I was really in the mood. So I know we are past Christmas, but maybe something to add to our list for next year. Book number 1 was Tru Blue by Melissa Foster, a new to me author. Never read anything by her before. I enjoyed her storytelling. However, already half a point to a point was deducted because it was third person POV. And y'all, there's why? I feel like, why? No, this was published in 2016. That could be a factor. I don't know. It was marketed a little bit as an MC romance, which I call like complete BS on. I don't feel like it was an MC romance at all. Simmer down. Were there MC people in the book? Yeah, there was. Our hero, Truman, Tru, he is like a part of an MC group, but really like he works with them. They're like his extended family, but it just didn't feel, you know what I mean? Anyway, this is about Truman and Gemma. Like I said, third person. It is very insta love, almost too insta love. There's really good bones to this story. I just felt like it was, not only was it insta love, but it just was like they got together and it was their life together. There was no conflict, and life is messy. Not all the time messy, but like there's just messy parts. And the messy was in the very beginning, but it didn't, it was like surrounding them, if that makes any sense. So Truman, right off the bat, he had grown up in a really rough area. He was always trying to be the best big brother to his little brother that he could. His mom was more into substance abuse and taking care of her children, and Truman ends up going to jail for his brother. His brother should have been the one in jail, and he takes the fall for it. But he will not tell anybody about it. Like, that's his secret to the grave. And when he gets out, he wants to make a better life for him and his brother, realizing that his brother has now gotten into the same substances that his mother has, and that while he's been away, he now has two extra siblings who are, I have to tell you, so freaking adorable. But Truman's big heart, like, he takes those kids in and they become his kids. For all intents and purposes, they are his kids. And that's how he meets our female heroine, Gemma. Gemma sees him out late one night trying to gather supplies and ends up helping him. And then, like, basically, like, that's all she wrote. That's the end of the story. It's just them navigating how they feel. She's a little put off by the fact that he's been in jail and he's like hardcore with tattoos, and she's not used to that. She comes from a very prim and proper upbringing, and it's more of like, let me get my prejudices out of the way and realize that there is a really decent guy standing in front of me. So again, I enjoyed the story. I think, like I said, it had good bones. I just wish that there was more grit in it. There was more meat to the story. There was more sustenance, I guess. So I ended up giving this one a 3 stars. I gave it a 2 stars for spice. Moving on to our first Christmas read is The Christmas Pact by Vi Keelan and Penelope Ward. I love it when these two authors get together, and low-key, these two authors have helped me get out of some serious reading slumps in the past. There's always just they're just easy reads. They're like, wouldn't call them like beach reads, but they would be great to read on vacation because you get through them quickly. You are just immersed in the world. But there's always like a moment, this pivotal moment in each one, especially by Keelan, but each one of their books where like I tear up. I don't cry, but I tear up. There's always a moment. But this one was really cute. So this is a little bit of rivals, office, romance, even though they work for the same company, but they work at different offices. And what else? Kind of like, what did I say? Rivals, so a little bit of enemies to lovers, but they don't know each other. They haven't ever met each other when we start the book. And we're talking about Riley and Kennedy. Now, the thing between Riley and Kennedy, which I thought was like really fun, Riley's name is Riley Kennedy, and Kennedy's name is Kennedy Riley. So, them working at two different branches of the same company, their emails get intertwined a lot. And whenever Riley, who is our female lead, gets one of these emails, she just sends it, forwards it straight to Kennedy. Kennedy, however, he will read the email, he will make notes about the email, and he will send it, forward it back to her, which I think is really funny. And I think, like, I found this endearing because, I don't know, I almost saw Kennedy as, like, he knows it riles her up. And he thinks it's like really cute that it riles her up, and even though he's never met her, he has this relationship with her, but she absolutely despises it. Like, she wants to wring his neck, she wants to kill him. Like, I'm done with this guy, just send me my emails, stop reading them. So it being Christmas time, Riley has some qualms about a few things surrounding Christmas, especially this Christmas letter that her mom sends out every year, and writes to this advice columnist. And when the advice columnist writes back, you guess what happens? The email gets sent to Kennedy instead of Riley. And so Kennedy reads this, and like all bets are off at this point. He puts his 2 cents in, and his 2 cents is definitely a jab, but it's that like hate banter that I don't know. It was really fucking cute. It was really cute. So Riley has obviously a little bit embarrassed, but severely pissed off as well, because like this is the straw that broke the camel's back basically. And when she realizes not only is it Christmas, but we have a Christmas party, and because it's like they haven't done this ever, but they decide to do the Christmas parties for the two branches together. And so there's a chance that she's going to meet this Kennedy Riley for the first time. Clearly, she's even more nervous about going to this Christmas party where she might bump into him. And I mean, we've guessed it, right? She bumps into him. And the unthinkable happens. Somehow, he invites her home for the holidays to go to a wedding and be his plus one and be his incognito fake girlfriend. I mean, how did we get from one to the other? Your guess is as good as mine, but it blows. It worked. Did I mention this is a novella? Like, all this happens in under 200 pages. It was fun. Again, this one is no spice. I probably could have gotten away with doing like a one for spice, but I'm going with a 0. I gave it a 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. It was my first Christmas read. It put me in the Christmas spirit. I was ready to read some more. Next up, I have Christmas Eve Eve by Chris Riley. This is, I'm going to call it another novella. It's just over 200 pages with 207. So another little Christmas novella. This one is between Dash and Eve. This is, I feel like, one of the perfect Christmas novellas. I feel like this is a newer release. I want to say that this just came out, and I've read quite a few things by Chris Riley this year. Really enjoy her writing. Definitely need to get to her backlist, but this one, I was just in the mood for Christmas novellas, and this really hit the spot. Dash is just really down on his luck. He has a business that is not doing so well, and he's trying to provide for him. His sister is a part of his business. He doesn't want to see it fail, and he is on his way to pitch a really big bid, and he needs this. He needs this Christmas miracle, but his truck decides to break down on his way to this bid, and he's got less than 24 hours to get there. His truck gets snowed in. They're in this picture perfect Wyoming village that is like just like picture perfect for Christmas, and he does break down in front of a B&B. However, they have no rooms available because it's been completely bought out by a wedding party, and that's where Eve comes in. While Dash is trying to figure out how to get himself to this bid, he and Eve meet, and there is something there, but it's more of an irritation on her part because she meets this stranger who is basically saying, give up your room. Can you give me your room for the night? I will pay, but just give me your room. And she does not want to room with her sister or her mother because she's got some issues there. That is for the book. She's like, I can't believe this. However, she is the maid of honor to the bride, and the bride and groom are just like the cutest fucking couple, by the way, but they want to help. That's who they are, especially the bride. She is very, this is my wedding, and it's perfect. We're in this beautiful place, and it's Christmassy, and I'm having a Christmas wedding, and, you know, nobody can be down on their luck, and nobody can be unhappy, so I will fix this. And so they bring Dash into this huge family gathering that he just doesn't want to be a part of, but ends up being involved in their Christmas games and sledding and snowman making, and him and Eve spark up this beautiful romance, and it was honestly, like, I thought it was perfect. There's weddings, there's friends, there's a little bit of drama, there's some really yummy spice. I thought this one was a perfect Christmas read. Definitely recommend it. I give it a 4 stars, 2 to 2.5 spice. And the drama, by the way, is not between Dash and Eve. So there you go. Next up, we have My Greatest Joy by Brooke Fox, who is also known as, or was known as, Brooke Cumberland, but now known as Brooke Montgomery. I've really come to love this author, but I haven't read a lot of her backlist, this being one of them. She did just re-release this one with some new content, so I wanted to read it. This one is a little bit longer, so it's not a novella, it's 260 pages, but we are back in a small town. It's Christmas, we're in Vermont, and I forgot to write down my main characters, so I cannot remember either one of their names. No, one of them is Joy, My Greatest Joy. Her name is Joy. I cannot remember his. Like, I want to say, like, it's something Christmassy, and I can't remember. Oh, I'll put it down here. I'm so sorry. Okay, so this one I liked, but I did have some problems with Joy. She does not like Christmas, but she is put on assignment as a writer to do a piece about this Vermont town because it's overload of Christmas, and they have this huge Christmas festival, and they bring in hundreds of thousands of people each year. That's how people make their money for this town throughout the year. And one of them being, oh my god, it's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember. Our hero's family, they have a Christmas tree farm, and they have this cute little like general store where you can buy all kinds of stuff. They have ginger snaps, which is like a family recipe, and like all this fun stuff, but it's like Christmas threw up in this town. And I mean, for someone who hates Christmas, Joy is beside herself. The person that was supposed to be doing the piece, something happened to them, so it's her turn. She's up to bat. So she's in this town for a couple weeks, has an Airbnb, gets there with minor difficulties, but a couple snags, and gets there and just wants to decompress and walks into this Airbnb that looks like it has also thrown up Christmas, and she's a little, alarmed about that. Like, this is a little ridiculous. Maybe I'll put some things away after I decompress, take a shower, take a bath, whatever. It seems that Joy has been scammed because in walks our hero, and that's not an Airbnb. It is his actual house. And she is basically living in somebody else's house for a couple weeks, and they didn't know about it. Now, this is where I got a little frustrated with her because, like, I get what's going on. Like, you hate Christmas and all that, and it is what it is. But clearly, you've been scammed. And instead of being apologetic, mortified, embarrassed, all the things, she is a little bit of a bitch when he is completely cinnamon roll here. Like, here, have my guest room. You're not going to find anywhere to stay because it's the Christmas festival. Hundreds of thousands of people come here. Like, they plan for this. You're not going to find anywhere to stay. You're more than welcome to stay here until you get everything situated. My home, is your home for the time being. And she's just not too grateful about it. And it takes some coaxing to get her into a more joyful mood. I mean, even with coffee, it's like, how horrendous. You don't have coffee. Ma'am, you didn't have anywhere to sleep 5 hours ago. He gave you his spare bedroom. He's giving you food. He's being as accommodating as he can to you. And can we be a little bit grateful? Honestly, it almost was like I have done it, right? Like, I have completely showed my ass, and like, I'm in it now. So I might as well continue on that path. Like, I can't backtrack now. Like, that's how I was seeing Joy. It was just like, well, I've committed myself, so I might as well be the Grinch. But she does thaw, and her and what's his name, they have some really good times together. I enjoyed this one after I got over her initial whatever that was. But I ultimately did end up giving this one a 4 stars as well. 3 stars for spice. So there you go. Okay, so moving on, we're going to stop at the Christmas for just a moment, and we're going to talk about Undeniable by Daisy Jane, another author that was new to me in 2024. Definitely has a backlist that I need to get to with some very interesting things. We've talked about this before, but like, Daisy Jane has a thing for kink, like weird kink. and I'm here for it. This is actually our buddy read for December. I will leave the live show in the card and down below as well. Gonna say it, not my favorite Daisy Jane book because of some of the content. So here's the thing, like, it's not because it wasn't written well. I think it was written fantastically. I really like the way Daisy Jane writes a book. The premise of it had me. I mean, you got age gap, pretty hefty. You got taboo, because here's the thing, he is her mom's ex-boyfriend. But it was like when he met them, they were very young. Okay, let's start over. This is between Lexi and Callan. When Callan meets Lexi and her brother, they are very young, like 2 and 5. He's in their lives for a couple years and then is taken away for about a decade and comes back into their lives. And Lexi's not for sure how to take it. She always had a thing for Callan, and not in a sexual way. She was way too young, but there was love there. He was the only real sense of family that her brother and her ever got. The mother didn't take very good care of them. Now that they're back in town, and Callan, he just wants to be near them because he searched for them for so long, and now these two are back. But not only are they back, but it's been over a decade, so they've grown, and Lexi is of age now, and he was not expecting to have the feelings that he does for Lexi, because he just remembers her as this little girl that he wanted to take care of her. Now he wants to take care of her in other ways, okay? So I was here for that. There is a lot of kinky sex because it's Daisy Jane, you guys. So I do want to preface that, like, it wasn't creepy, okay? That wasn't like, sexual things never occurred to him when they were young. It is only now that, and I think, like, it's almost okay, and it makes it better because there was that time gap there. So it's like, I knew you back then, but now I'm knowing you and meeting you as a different person. I mean, 10 years, like, there's so much growth there. And really, like, Lexi's been taking care of her brother, like, she's the mom. That's where I had some problems with this, because there is, I love the dynamic of Lexi and Benny, her brother. It is like she's his mom, because she has taken care of him since he was born. And that is something that Callan always noticed whenever he knew them back then, was that Lexi would take care of that baby. She was older beyond her years. It's that there's things that happen in this book that I don't feel like they were necessary, and I don't understand why. Going back to my first book, where I said life is messy, people need conflict, it can't just be all like, I need conflict. I understand that life is messy, but, like, why? We could have had a little bit different kind of mess, like, bring the mom mess in or something like that. What happened here, it was not okay with me, and it was very surprising. I was not expecting that. It just wasn't my favorite. It wasn't my favorite. I'm just gonna say that. I did give this one a 4 spice. There is hella spice in it, you guys. Very kinky, very spicy. He's got some. I mean, we might even need to go to a 5. I don't know. Like, there's some shit. For rating, I think I ultimately ended up giving this like a 3 or a 3.5. I don't know, but definitely high on the spice. Okay, still taking a break from the Christmas books. We have Neva Altai's newest release. I had to stop everything and read this. It is Sweet Prison by Neva Altai. We're back in Perfectly Imperfect world. So we got, Boston, Mafia. We are with Massimo and Zahara. We've met them before. We met them in Kai and... Why? Why do I always forget names? That girl. Kai and that girl, which is Zahara's sister. Also, a longer book. So this one's over 400 pages, but it has to be, because there was some meat and bones that needed to come into play. Because here's the thing, Massimo is Zahara, and that bitch is, I cannot remember. Anyway, they're step siblings, but again, they never lived in the same home, so it's not like, even though yes, he's technically her stepbrother, her much older stepbrother, he never lived really in the same home with her. She was like 3 or 4 whenever he got sent to prison for 18 years. So she did not grow up with this man. However, when she was on the cusp of being a preteen, she starts writing to him, and he at first is like, I mean, whatever. But then he starts writing to her because he realizes that she can be his spy. He can mold her to be a spy. But he also, I think, doesn't realize that not only is he molding her to be the spy for him and to get the information and to make sure that people are doing what they're saying, because all the while he's been in prison, like all this time, he is making the decisions where his outfit is concerned. It might be Zahara's dad that is the boss, but it is not. It really is Massimo the entire time. He makes the decisions. It's his say, and nobody knows that. So like I said, we've got a big age gap. He goes to prison. They're writing letters, and there is a lot of their letters to be involved because they start when Zahara is so young. Now, we also know that Neva loves her perfectly imperfect, where we always have some type of scarred hero. Sometimes both are scarred, and that is still the case here. I can't, what is it? Vitiligo, is that right? Vitiligo. She has like a skin condition where she thinks, I mean, and people are like, why are kids so freaking cruel? Like, why are people so cruel? But it honestly, like, it embarrasses her. She hides. It also, she can't wear certain things on her skin, like jewelry, fabrics, even like foundations and chemicals will really severely irritate her skin. But there are also splotches, so a little bit lighter pigmented color. And she does try to hide this. But the thing is it doesn't hide from her beauty. She doesn't realize how absolutely gorgeous she is. But I think being cast aside by people most of her life has made her just a really beautiful person inside and out. So when Zahara and the sister, when their dad dies, and we find that out in Kai and her story, but when their dad dies, that is when Massimo sees her for the first time. And the first time that he sees her, he's like, holy shit, what have I done? I can't believe that I put this creature, like this girl, I can't believe I put her in harm's way all these years. She's mine. I have to have her. That's it. Like that there is that quintessential over the top possessive alpha male hero that Neva does so well, and there it is. Zahara's like, listen, bitch, I have been this person for X amount of years. You've made me this person. You've made me stronger, and I'll be damned if you're going to take that away from me now. No. There is this really fun dynamic, especially when Massimo finally gets out of prison. So, I mean, like, the big chunk of the book is him in prison and how they navigate that. And then he gets out and they have to navigate this relationship. The Spice. Let's go ahead and say. So, The Spice, I would give it about a 2.5 Spice, because, again, think about it. Half of the book he's in prison, and then he gets out and is good. I couldn't give this one 5 stars. I gave it a 4.5 stars because there is this certain thing that is just unnecessary that I just was like, it grossed me out a little bit. Massimo is very quick to temper, and she is the only one that can tame him. Thanks Sergey, thanks Salvatore. Love that man. Definitely unhinged for sure, but to calm him down, just no. I mean, there are other ways. No. So I just couldn't give that a 5 stars because of that. If you know, you know. If you need me to spell it out and we need to talk about it, we can talk about it in the comments. But 4.5 stars, 2.5 stars for Spice. We moving on. And we are back to Christmas, you guys. Okay. So, another novella, another new to me author this year, and one that, like, we need more from her. Yes, please. This is The Miracle That Ties Us by Nicolette Terry. This is just over 100 pages, very, very fast. This is between Kate and Roman. It takes place in North Carolina. Again, another perfect Christmas novella. I really enjoyed this one. I want more from this couple. Kate and Roman have been in love with each other since they were both teens, but neither one of them acted on it. Neither one of them could communicate how they were feeling, and there is a miscommunication and a misunderstanding. I typically do not like no, there is no typically. I don't like miscommunication. It is one of my biggest pet peeves. I was okay with it here because it was a misunderstanding that led to fleeing, that led to being apart for many, many years, and now they're back in the same town. Roman has just finished his I think he's in his residency to become a doctor, but a specific type of doctor. He had a family member who was sick with a kidney disease, and so he is in that specialty. And here we have Kate, who is dealing with a grandmother whose kidneys are failing. She needs a kidney transplant, or she's not going to make it. They need a Christmas miracle, and I just thought this was so. It was emotional. It was a quick read. So I mean, again, it's like just over 100 pages. What really could you pack in there? But there is a good amount packed in those 100 pages. Once these two get to talking and they realize that both of them love each other, both of them wanted each other back then, but neither one of them were big enough or strong enough or courageous enough to tell the other, I want you. And so they lost out on all this time, but sometimes I feel like that is for the best because you're older, you know yourself a little bit better, hopefully, and when you meet that person that you were supposed to be with, things click together, and that's what happens along with some Christmas miracles. I gave this one a 4-star. I gave it 0 for spice because there ain't no spice. Which brings us to our last book. If you're wanting spice, this one has it in spades with The Naughty List by Jade West. Holy balls. Many, many, many balls. This is about Elle, or Holly as she's known on The Naughty List. This is just pure Christmas smut. Elle is down on her luck. She's just been broken up with her longtime boyfriend, whom she moved to London for. She was still in the area, but she moved to central London for him because he wanted to be a huge rock star, and he just left her for somebody who he thinks can advance his career. And so now she's just like, what do I do? And I live in a shithole with a bunch of people, and I don't like it, and I want to go see my parents for Christmas. So when her and her boyfriend moved to central London, her parents up and moved to Australia because that's what they've always wanted to do. And so it's expensive, apparently, like hella expensive to fly from London to Australia. One thing I didn't realize was like, why couldn't she just say, Mom, Dad, like I miss you, I wanna come see you for Christmas? Like, why couldn't they have split the cost of the plane ticket? That's neither here nor there, but apparently like it's really expensive to fly because so Elle decides that one of her somebody that acquaintance online, she knows that she does some sex work, and so she's very interested in that because little did we know, little Elle here, she is very sexual, has a very big sexual appetite, and just is not getting those needs met. So why not get paid to get pleasure and pleasure other people? And that is where the naughty list comes in. So she signs up for this pay for sex website where it's basically like they pay for scenarios and you get paid for it, and they give you a proposal, they tell you how long they want you for and what they want you for and how much they're willing to pay, and then you accept it or don't. And the naughty list basically is you can tick off what you're willing to do, what you want to do, what you love to do. There it is. However, with the naughty list comes the mega stars. There's about 4 of them in their sexual arena, and they are called the hardcores. And Elle, who is affectionately known as Holly in the sex world, she wants to be the top hardcore. Like, she is coming after the top hardcore because she wants to be it. So basically, y'all, it's just slut. It is just page after page of no, I should say, it's smut, but I should say chapter after chapter of her getting a proposal, and then the chapter is her fulfilling that proposal and what happens. And it is just every kink that you can frickin' imagine. I mean, we start out with the vanilla to a huge daddy kink, like he wants to spank and do dirty things to his daughter. We've got that time of the month kink. We've got a wife and husband who want to play like they're getting caught. One of them's getting caught, and there's like spanking and fisting, and there's a lot. It's all in here. It's just pure splat. Like, I just didn't know. I didn't read. I didn't know what I was in for, but I was like, okay. Needless to say, Elle does make enough money to send herself to Australia to see her parents for Christmas. That's really all you need to know. And then if you need any, if you just like kinks, there you go. And that was my last read of the year as well, with The Naughty List by Jade West. There you go. Those were my 8 books for December. Okay, I've already done my housekeeping. We know that I will be back next week with best and worst videos of 2024. And with that, that is going to do it for today's wrap up. I will definitely see you guys next week for those videos. If you made it this long in the video, leave me a Christmas emoji down in the comments so I know that you did, and I will catch you in my next read. I will catch you in my next video. But until next time, happy reading.